The stock market is the most popular investment type in the UK, but do you know how your shares are taxed? Are you paying the correct amount of tax? And do you know how to pay less tax on your shares? I have over 10 years experience working in the tax profession, working for some of the leading UK tax practices. And in this video, I'll cover all three of these questions. I'd assume that you're a beginner and that you have no knowledge of how shares are taxed. So first of all, let's talk about what we mean by a stock. I'll use the terms stock and share interchangeably in this video because essentially they mean the same thing. A stock or a share is when you own a piece of a company. So if somebody says that they're investing in Tesla, what they mean is that they are going to go away and buy shares in Tesla, and presumably they'll become a very, very small shareholder in that company. When you're a shareholder, it means that when the company performs well, you do well. But when the company performs badly, you do badly. And HMRC want to tax you in those times that you're doing well and earning money. And unfortunately, more and more people are paying more tax than ever before, partly because HMRC are slashing allowances. So as an investor, you might have to pay tax for the first time, depending on how you bought your shares. But we'll talk about that later on in the video. There are 3 points in time at which you will need to pay tax on your shares, from the moment that you buy your shares up to the point of disposal. And I'll talk about all three next. And then I'll cover how you can pay less tax on your shares. So first of all, let's talk about what happens when you buy your shares. When you buy something in the UK, you have to pay tax on it. So when you go out to a restaurant, you pay VAT on your food. When you buy a house, you pay stamp duty, land tax. And when you buy shares, you pay stamp duty at 0.5% as long as the transaction is over £1,000. Now, this won't matter for investors who dabble and just buy a few shares every few years, but it will matter if you make lots of transactions. The UK actually has the highest rate of stamp duty in the world on shares, only after Ireland. Most countries don't charge people stamp duty when they buy shares. It applies to existing shares in UK companies, so you won't pay it when you buy shares in foreign companies or when you invest in ETFs. You will pay it if you decide to buy a business and you buy the shares of that business rather than the assets of the business. So for example, if there was a local beauty salon up for sale and you bought the entire business, you would pay stamp duty on the value of the shares. So to illustrate this, let's say that you wanted to buy shares in BT and you wanted to buy 10 shares, which would cost you around £1,000. You would pay £5 of stamp duty on that transaction. So clearly that's minimal, and it's not much in real money terms when it's a transaction of that size. On the other hand, let's say that you wanted to buy that beauty salon and it was up for £1 million. The stamp duty would be £5,000. So it starts to matter more when the transaction value is higher. Next, let's talk about how you're taxed whilst you own the shares. When you own shares, you're likely to receive a dividend because that's the company's way of saying thank you for buying the shares and for being an investor. The company will most likely pay dividends on a quarterly basis, and they will be a portion of the company's profits. HMRC see that as a type of income, and guess what? They want to tax you on that income. You can receive a consolidated tax certificate from your brokerage account, which tells you the dividends that you've received in the tax year, and that makes it easier to report the dividends to HMRC. But everybody has a £500 dividend allowance, which means that you can receive up to that amount before you start paying tax on your dividends. So if you have less than £500 of dividends in a year, you won't see anything on your CTC. Now, the dividend allowance used to be £5,000 in 2017, so clearly the allowance is getting much smaller, so £500 really isn't great. To figure out how much tax you will be paying on your dividends, you need to work out which income tax band your dividends will fall into, and you will do that by adding your dividends received in the year to your salary for the year. So let's say that you earn £50,270 a year and then you earn 10k of dividends on top of that. Your dividends will fall within the higher rate tax bracket. You'll also get your £500 dividend allowance. So £9,500 of dividends will be subject to tax at 33.75%. So your tax bill will be £3,200 on those dividends. Now let's talk about how HMRC will tax you when you come to sell your shares. When you decide to sell your shares, you'll either make a gain if you sell them for more money than you paid for them, or you'll make a loss if you sell them for less. If you make a gain, HMRC will tax you, and that's on UK stocks and also on foreign stock. But you only pay tax on realised gains, which means that if you hold your shares in your brokerage account and they go up in value, but you don't actually sell the shares, you won't need to pay any tax on them. And then if you make a realised loss, so you come on to sell your shares and they sell for less than you paid for them, you get to keep that loss and carry it forward into future periods to set off against future gains. So that's a really good benefit. Also, capital gains tax is taxed more favourably than income tax. And that's part of the reason why the rich keep getting richer, because the rich are typically asset rich and their assets are taxed much more favourably. Capital gains tax on shares is 10% if you're a basic rate taxpayer, and it's 20% if you're a higher or additional rate taxpayer. Plus, with capital gains tax, you can get an annual exemption of £3,000. So that means that if you make a gain of less than £3,000, you don't need to pay any tax on that gain. Now, let's talk about how you can avoid paying these taxes on your shares. The best way to avoid paying tax on shares is through a tax wrapper. And the two main options you have there are a stocks and shares ISA and a pension. And if you're going down the pension route, then it would be probably a self-invested personal pension, because that lets you select your investments. So you can choose which stocks you want to buy. Both of these options will shelter any capital appreciation from a capital gains tax and will shelter any dividends from income tax. You'll still have to pay stamp duty if you buy shares over £1,000, but the stamp duty is usually factored into the transaction price, so you won't need to pay the stamp duty separately. You can invest up to £20,000 in a stocks and shares ISA in any tax year, and that is shared with your cash ISA allowance as well. And then if you invest through a SIP, you can invest up to 100% of your salary, up to a maximum of 60k. So if you used both of these tax wrappers, you could invest £80,000 in a single tax year into the stock market in a very tax efficient way. Another way to avoid the capital gains tax element of your share sale would be to gift your shares to your spouse or civil partner, because when you do that, no capital gains tax is payable. And then finally, if we're talking about your own personal business and selling the shares in that, you may qualify for business asset disposal relief, which means that you'll pay less capital gains tax, because the applicable rate will be 10% up to a lifetime limit of £1 million. So you'll avoid paying the 20% capital gains tax rate if you are selling your own shares in your own business as a sole trader or a partner. If you enjoyed this video, then check out some of my other tax videos. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because it really will help it to grow, and I will see you next week.